about how this thought and how this journey started. Today I'm feeling so charged seeing all of you in front of me. The experience of lockdown was like a journey, and it came as a cobweb around us from all sides. Month of March was like a baby who wants to see the new world. April made us understand importance of hygiene practices and all. Change is a big teacher. Me being positive, believed in winning the tough situations in life, and that pushed me to keep myself searching for learning and exploring something new. Today's talk is one of such learnings. During these holidays, I used to keep searching, and so many intimations were coming for various programs, and I used to attend webinars which may help me for IFSA somewhere or the other. And this is one of the webinars which I attended, and I liked it very much. And when Vijaya proposed that we should start our series of lectures, I was the first one. I said, yes, I'm very much enthusiastic about it. I had not done anything on that. But when the lecture was there, I had noted down because I loved the topic. Maybe it was my botany subject. And then I started working on it. And today, that learning is in front of you. There is another learning. Last year, I was not very confident, or rather like a baby, to handle this type of work. Everything I learned from Winnie. I thank Winnie so much for making me able to give this presentation today. This PPT presentation, how to do it, everything she taught me. But when I sat down to do it, then the actual study started. So I start with my topic now, forest to farms. Next slide, Suparna. As you can see, some of the fruits. Next slide. Now, the agenda of today's talk is history of fruits. Second is domestication and its beginning. Third is process of domestication. Fourth, ethnobotany and domestication. And fourth is description of most domesticated fruit. And in the end, I have conclusion. Now, coming to my first point in agenda, history of fruits. Early human being was living in nature with forest all around. Forest fruits were his food. Fruits were selected on the basis of its taste and texture. Hence, sweet, pulpy, and squishy fruits were preferred. Some 5,000 years ago, Aryans came to India. Suparna, can you zoom it?
Can you put it on slide mode, Suparna? Because it becomes small otherwise.
So Aryans came some 5,000 years ago to India, and the domestication of plants actually started some 12,000 years ago. That is when man was living in original condition, in wearing leaves of plants and covering and eating whatever was available in front. Similarly, the fossil records show that dates, khajur and grapes were the first edible fruits from forest. But Aryans, when they came some 5,000 years ago, they started growing grasses. And these grasses ended up like cereals, rice and wheat. The first edible fruit from forest is also discussed in Vedic and epic times, where the scriptures show us some 1000 BC to 600 BC era. In Ramayana, the famous story of boar or the Didyphus, we all know. In Krishi Sukti, reference of the coconut and nimba, that is neem, tree is seen with other fruits like amra, the mango. They used to call it as mango. Kalidas described that blooming of wild mangoes was a source of candle flame of love in the heart of women. That is, the fragrance of the inflorescence and the flowers was so emotional that women used to be involved in emotions. Similarly, medicinal plants like bale, wild dates, wild fig, jamun, jackfruits, mango are also described in Charak Samhita. Evidences are during Harshvardhana king time also, and visits of Italian physicians, observation on fruits in India. Actual scientific work started on exemplary value of Indian flora, which is recorded during British colonization during AD 1757 to AD 1947. And as I said, the earliest fruits which are described in all these scriptures are like fig, like targulas, like elephant apple, tamarind, and some other wild fruits also. Next slide, Tupan. Now, how did this domestication started? That is another question. Now, as life was evolving, the human being was evolving, different circumstances were there, then the human started, just zoom it please, he started domesticating. And how this domestication process started, that is, it was humans were growing plants. As I said, Aryans came and they started growing plants, but domestication was the criteria, was the taste and the texture of the fruit which the early human beings were eaten. The sweeter fruits were selected, the juicy fruits were selected, and that is how they started domesticating it near their premises or wherever they were starting. And hence we can say that the domestication started with natural selection. There was no scientific approach behind that. Simple texture and the taste of the fruit was the main first step of domestication. That is, from indigenous type to cultivated plants were approved. Now they started those plants, those fruit plants which were sweet, and they loved it. Since fruit like banana, wild grape were many seeded, they could not enjoy the fruit since seeds were interrupting to the taste and they could not enjoy the fruit. Hence, they started improving with natural selection. And out of that, they must have selected plants which were having less seed. They start planted, and then slowly and gradually, they develop their techniques to develop from seeded plants to seedless plants. Similarly, Homo sapiens, when they came in 19th and 20th century, that is for 100 and 200 years, they had various varieties which they produced. With increased study and knowledge, farm products started increasing and they started going those farm products. So now there are some 600 indigenous fruits in the wild form which are eaten even today as wild fruits. And such fruits are like fruits of targulas, elephant apple, tamarind, wild strawberry, etc. Next slide. Now, since this subject is from ethnobotany, I don't know if you all know what is ethnobotany. Ethnobotany is the study in a very basic language. If I say, it is from basic to improved form. That is ethnobotany, and it is related to our culture also. So, whatever was useful, since we have this organic farming also, this so much importance is given to organic farming. Why? Because it gives us the original idea, the original values that the particular product had. Just 2 minutes. So, ethnobotany is the scientific study of the traditional knowledge and custom of a people concerning plants, their medicinal, religious, and other uses. As you all know, we have plants in our LG garden related to Ganpati festival, related to Durga Puja and all. So this all comes under a part of as ethnobotany. So domestication of these nutrient-rich plants ensures constant supply to the human being. Next slide. Now I'll start explaining some of the domesticated plants. And the first, yes.
All the rest can see the slides. Smita has put on the chat box that she can't see the slides.
Acha, acha.
Everybody can see the slides. I can't see the chat box now.
We can see the slide.
Okay, thank you.
Suparna, even I can see the slides.
Good. Thank you. Madhu ma'am, continue.
Okay. So the first fruit which I have taken, wild fruit which was domesticated, is pomegranate. It is some 500 years old, and the wild variety is good and is produced by natural hybridization. Modern anardana is found in Himalayas near Solan Valley. It is produced from wild variety, and the name is given. Now, the fruit of this pomegranate is of berry type, and its extract of the powder of its rind is from the peel, which is highly antioxidant. And the antioxidant inflammatory effects it helps to reduce. It also helps to reduce the fight against prostate cancer. Similarly, the popular variety is, which is growing naturally. There are two varieties. One is grayish and the other is orange in color. So when domestication was done, the hybridization techniques were used and they mixed and came out with the good variety which we get today. These are mostly cultivated in Sholapur and Sangli. And wild variety is good, different naturally from this hybrid quality, has much sweeter taste, has got much bright colors, and it has been geotagged for easy cultivation in India. Next slide. Now, next common fruit which was easily available in forest was the banana. The banana picture which you see here shows those blackish as their seeds. So it was many seeded fruit, though it was very sweet, and it was helping them to have it, and then it used to give them more strength and the fulfillment also. But in spite of that, eating this banana with the seed was little irritating. So that is how they started improvising it. Its cultivation started some 10,000 years ago, and domestication, as I said, by natural selection, the sweetest, less seed to lesser seed, and that is how the domestication had its journey. And bananas are mainly growing in Assam and Nagaland, the best species. The original species of these bananas you will still find in forest in some corners of the forest. The seedless and the sweeter varieties are cultivated from these wild varieties only. And banana, you can Here it's a description during Vedic times and even in Mahabharata times. Now, this was brought by Arabs in some 327 BC, and these Arabs they moved from Asia to Africa and finally carried to the New World by missionaries. The first production started in 1834, and then the crops were increasing and increasing the quality and the amount also. The banana production has increased since 2003, and the organic variety, there are various varieties of organic banana, that is apple banana, java bela, red banana, nino banana, cavendish banana, and ornamental bananas also. I don't have so much space, and I was not I was initially told to give only 40 minutes talk, otherwise I would have shown you the pictures of all these varieties also. Next picture. Apple. Now today apple is so common that it has become every house table fruit. But initially the majority of apples were tagged in Australia, and they are indigenous to Australia only. And if we go back to the history, they are some 4000 BC year old. Now, today's apple, which we eat here, we get various varieties from different countries also. But the apple which is growing in India, I'm talking about that. It is from China seeds, and what they did, they took seeds from China and they distributed at various places, various states in India. Now, as they were growing in different places, different soil, different atmosphere, there was difference in the fruit and the quality of the fruit also. They selected those fruits and again they underwent, due to the texture, due to their taste, again they tried to mix varieties and they came up with different ideas and collected and started producing hybridized new varieties. And today India is the fifth largest exporter in the world. Now, if we go to the little history, the British always used to have their summer holidays in Shimla. And when they used to stay there for 6 months on the hills, they used to grow plants also. And one of the this so they used to grow small quantities of sour pipings on surrounding hills. That is Ambari variety from Kashmir Valley, which is even older than this variety. So Himachal and Kashmir, they give us around 3/4 of India's production. The production in these two states is maximum. As I was going to the history, it was the Samuel which is remembered for introducing delicious apple to India. You all know delicious apple is very sweet and very juicy. And he had his big family, and his 29th grandson, known as Vijay, he was working in America. Somehow he left his job, engineering job there, and he came back to India. He went to the place where his grandfather had, or the British had started growing these apples, and he started working on it in 2002, Kotagar. And by 1910, Samuel planted American apples called as delicious. By 1914, the Samuel discovered that the economic potential is there in the apple crop, and it became so popular that he discovered and started planting and producing, helping the farmers all around the area. And on top of that, he was not only working on this, he used to go on surrounding areas like Missouri and or anywhere. all around hilly stations, and from there he used to bring plants and try to flourish them. And in 1926, Potagar's village became a wealthy village, and by 1980, apple production was at peak. Next slide. Now we know that there are various varieties. I did not describe here so many varieties. Next is the most loved fruit, mango. And you all know we say that the mango is what? King of the fruits. In front of mango, all fruits are left. It gets full. Now, they they are so well acquainted or well grown all over the India that you will find right from Himalayas to Kanyakumari. Though each place and each state mangoes will be having different type, different shape, different taste, but you will find all over India mangoes growing, and there are more than 90 varieties in India. The actual domestication started in India and Burma, and each state has its popular type of mango. As I said, you go to Konkan, you get Alfonso, you go to Lucknow, you get Daseri, you go to Banaras, you get Langra, like you go to South, you get Began Palli, and on. Some 90 varieties of the mango are visible, and each variety has got its own taste, its flavor, and it is being used for various economic purposes. Canning, juice is being done, and export is also going on. Just zoom it, please. Now, apart from being a fruit tree, this tree is also a sacred tree. Its wood is used for various pujas, religious, holy functions. Leaves are used as toran, as making it a. Now, mangoes, if we go back to history, it shows that Lodi introduced this mango to Babar, and fossil study evidence indicates that mango is 25 to 30 million ago years was present. Northeast India, Myanmar and Bangladesh. It traveled from there to South India, and the earliest name of the mango, they used to call it as Amra. Vedic times also show the presence of this mango, and South India, in Tamil, they used to call it as A-double-A-N, kari. Similarly, in Malayali, they used to call as manga. And then Portuguese were fascinated, and they named it as mango in Kerala. And that is how the name from Amra to mango, which we now also we call it as, that is how its naming was done. Now, King Porus, when he was fighting, and when Alexander was fighting with King Porus, and he came to India, and he found this mango, and he was so fascinated that he took along with him many varieties of mango, and he planted in his state. And it is said to be as a sacred tree where Buddha was present with mango, grew so he could sit and meditate under the shady tree. Alauddin Khilji is the first patron observer love for mango in Mughal dynasty. On return to Kabul, Himanyu also took many mangoes by courier system of that time, and he started growing trees there. Peshwas and Marathas also planted some 10 million plants in their territory, and today's Alfonso is from that collection only. It has fascinating weavers, and design are also iconic Indian moat, and mango is seen as a symbol of good luck and prosperity. Leaves are strung up over front doors of homes as thoran. Mango festivals are celebrated in towns like Cultural Legacy in Lucknow, Calcutta, etc., or other cities, even in Bombay or Konkan also, you will find that they are being taken as festivals to show our culture, a part of our culture. And even today, the researches are going on and new varieties are coming up. And this research is being done in Konkan. And the other day, Suparna told me that even Reliance has started a research center in Gujarat. So Akbar was so fond of that he planted some 1 lakh mango trees in Lal Bagh of Bihar. And from there, these all varieties have started coming to us. Next slide. Yeah, this is another interesting forest tree, which is still growing in forest. And the forest, these boards are very, very tasty, and they are still being used. Now, the importance of fruits like this is when the season is not there of cultivated fruits, these forest fruits are used as regular fruits to fill up the place of cultivated fruits. And in India, India is the largest exporter of the jijifas or the jujubu or the boar fruit. It is also growing as a bushy tree. Thorny tree it has, its leaves are very beautiful. And if you see, goats are very fond of leaves of this. And some 125 varieties with good taste and size are available in forest as well as in cultivated farm. They are mostly growing in Kumbhakaran and the Krishi Vidyalaya, where the cultivated varieties are continuously produced by various methods, by hybridization or by various other techniques. The natural cross of Indian green variety and Thailand variety produces a hybrid variety. This also is present right from epic times. As I said, when Rama was going to his 14 years journey, he found lady eating boars, and she was eating and tasting and giving to Rama, and that is how Rama was eating jute babes. Huh? It's very well-known stories there. Now, the Indian variety, there are two main varieties which have come from China. Chinese variety is Digipus jujube, and it grows in temperate areas. It has got various varieties. If I name them, varieties are Banarsi, Pewadi, Dandan, Kaithali, Muria Mahara, Nadi Kadi, then Nazuk, Sonora 1, Sonori 2, Umran. So many varieties. As I said, it has got 125 wild varieties. And each variety has got its own taste and its own shape. These days, you must be, when the season comes, on the crossings, you find people, the sellers selling those boars, golden yellow, which turn little brownish when they are ripe. So this is an Umran variety. Similarly, Sonari 5 is Desi Alwar, which has got medium flavor. Gola has got small size to large size. So like this, you have so many varieties, and these new varieties have been due to the hybridization. The oldest wild variety is used not only in fresh form, it is also used in dried form. They take this ripe ones and they sun dry, and then they are used in the off season when the season is not there. Now, in countries like Africa, these bores are dried, and then the fermented pulp out of that is made into pressed and made into cakes like gingerbreads. In Indonesia, young leaves are eaten, and in Venezuela, they prepare a liquor also out of it and sell it. Similarly, the seed kernels are eaten at times of famine. When nothing is available, they are of use. Like mango, this tree wood is also very useful for making furniture because it is tough, hard, and textured, and which is red colored, and it is also used as fuels. Leaves are used for breeding of silkworms. The boar wood is also used for dyeing silk in Burma. The nectar in India and Queensland. Flowers are used as source of nectar for honeybee to get light honey with fair flavor. Apart from this, the insects are grown on this tree to produce lac, which is used in making wax, varnish, and resins also. And it has many medicinal values also. Next slide, please. Now here comes our real Indian fruit, the fig. The fig is real of Indian origin, and has some 850 type of ficus varieties. It can be eaten dry or dried, and it has a very famous story in the Gospels, that is cursing fig tree. It seems when Jesus Christ was walking in the Israel, he found a tree of boar which was without fruits, and he cursed it because Israel never believed in the sayings or followings of Jesus. And when he passed by, and he said, "What is this? This tree has got no fruits. The tree should have fruits so that it is useful for the mankind." And as they passed away from that, people observed that from the next year there were fruits growing and the trees were full of these fruits. And fig is also, if we go back to ancient stories, even Adam and Eve, when they were there, they were using fig leaves to cover their body parts. And it is believed that it is a symbol of prosperity and peace and well-being in biblical passages of Bible. In in Israel, fig is said to be a barometer of health of nature. The fig trees were cursed because there were no fruits. But after the entry of Mark and Matthew, today Israel is full of fig trees, well developed, and has 2 harvests of fruits per year. Now, in India, we have in UP and Maharashtra where orchards are present to produce these figs. The fig is present, as he said, is right from Mahabharata time and Ramayana time, and now many hybrid varieties are produced. I hope you know, all of you know the morphology of this. This is not a true fruit. This anjeer is actually the whole inflorescence, which has its receptacle where the inflorescence grows, and it forms the shape of the disc. And inside this, the crunchy part which you eat are actually the fruits. And inside you may see sometimes insects are also inside that. They are not harmful. They are there for the process of pollination. Through the small entry, they enter into the flower, into the receptacle, that is the outer covering of the fruit, and they help in pollination to undergo the process of sexual reproduction. Next slide. And now the last fruit has come, that is coconut. Now, coconut, this also is very, very ancient, and its origin is said to be from the ocean, that is from Pacific Ocean and from Indian Ocean. Now, both these varieties of Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean are different in their taste and in their texture. The Indian variety which we get here is actually has come from Pacific, which has given birth to the Indian variety. And coconut is, if you go back to history, it is being described in Ramayana time also. The best quality of coconuts are used for making desiccated coconuts, oil, etc. There's so many things. But each variety has got its own quality, whether it is for desiccated coconut or it is used for oil. This particular plant also was domesticated on natural selection only, and mostly you will find they are growing wildly only. The improved hybrid varieties are now being planted in various areas like farms, etc. But the original varieties are found in near the coastal areas only. And selection of the best quality is for the export desiccated variety and for the oil, etc. Now, in mythology, also, you will find it has got great importance in religious functions. It has got its own significance. And if you see, it always shows three tips on the top of the fruit because it is having three. It is monocotyledon, and three ovaries they join together and form this fruit, and that is why it has got three tips at the apex of the fruit. Next slide. Now, coming to the conclusion, now if we see how domestication was started initially, some of the fruits was by spreading these trees or throwing away these seeds in various areas and then growing like grasses. From grasses, they developed rice and wheat. Similarly, other fruits were also apple, etc. The new varieties or the different textures were due to this method only. Now, domestication was a turning point initially, and it has not stopped till now. Now also we are doing researches to find new varieties or mixed varieties or something or the other to get better varieties today for future also. Like some are growing in marshy land, some are growing in other without marshy land also. So according to the climate, according to the nature, according to the soil, you will find different types of bananas, and bananas are also of many types. I had noted down. Yeah. Now, in case of bananas, as I had described you, that there are various types of bananas. That is red banana, the domesticated banana, ornamental banana, then Java banana, and in South, the bananas which you find. Now, the ripe bananas are eaten, which are rich in sugar, and they give you very good filling nature. But the ripe banana, raw banana, if you take, you will find it is rich in starch. So, the ripe banana is also useful in controlling diabetes. It is also used in colon cancers because it has got many useful elements. It has got vitamins. It has got, due to which it is also used as an treatment for various simple diseases in household daily treatments. The domesticated of native fruit trees will reduce poverty. Yes. How this will reduce? Now the people, those who are staying in villages, or when they are staying in coastal areas or near to the forest. Now, why this domestication has started and why we have the scarcity of wild fruits? See, it has got various factors. When the population explosion started, there was scarcity of land, and the man started growing getting into the forest. And that is how the forest was cut down and the number of trees were reduced. But now, when the nature, man has come to know the importance of the nature, once again the original organic farming has started. And due to this, the quality of these wild fruits is again recognized, and the wild fruits are again cultivated and grown for cash crops. No, since the advantage of these fruits are, they are there when your normal fruits are not there during rainy season, during summer season, when other fruits are not available. These fruits are available in abundance. So, if they are grown keeping in mind the seasons and the availability, the farmers, those who are living in the forest, can really make money and have a good life. And I recommend that now these farmers should be encouraged. There should be more farm markets where farmers directly bring their products and they sell it. Otherwise, when the middleman comes in, they don't get the amount of money of their hard labor. And if they have direct selling, the fruits also will be available in original form with their original taste and with all their vitamins and everything, and farmers will be having better life. And hybridization has major role, that we all know. Hybridization has started initially when they started from seeded bananas, seeded grapes, etc. And today we have all fruits. If I count, you'll get n number of hybridized varieties in each fruit. You get papayas which are seedless. Otherwise, the actual banana in organic form, it is full of seeds. Similarly, if you take any fruit, you will find that it has certain characters which are different from the original wild form. So, hybridization is important because according to the time, according to the circumstances, as temperature is increasing in the nature, in the environment, similarly the heat resistant. These like apple trees, they were growing only in Shimla, but now they are growing all over Himalayan region. You Masuri, you go here and there. Because of hybridization, only they could develop new varieties